This deck won $50,000 at Pro Tour Aetherdrift in the hands of Matt Nass. That is the best of 3 format. We're playing best of 1 here today, so I chopped off the sideboard. I will recommend changes to the deck at the end after I played a few times. But in general, the plan of the deck is simple. Beanstalk is a very powerful card, 2-mana enchantment, draw a card when it enters, and when you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater. Well, we happen to have a lot of spells with mana value 5 or greater. Ride's End is a spell that's 5 or greater that gets reduced in cost if your opponent has a tapped permanent that we're targeting. Leyline Binding, as you should know, less in cost based on your mana base. Overlord of the Mistmoors, Overlord of the Hauntwoods. These cards are cards that you can cast early for their impend cost, but also cast late for up Beanstalk value. Then, because you're playing Overlords, Zur is getting in there to animate those Overlords, your impended Overlords, to get their enter the battlefield or attacks effects going. And if you want to compete, you have to have temporary lockdown. You have to have Day of Judgments, analyze the pollen, things like that. I think some of these numbers for the Wrath, temporary lockdown, analyze pollen would change in a best of 1 format. But I want to try the deck out as is, see how it does. Yeah, let's try it out on the ladder. Alrighty, our opponent is going first. They have mulliganed, and this hand is not that fast. It does have a turn 3 Overlord, though, into Leyline Binding and Ride's End on turn 4. I think you can double up there. So I'll keep. But if this is mono red, certainly could get run over. That's the real big deterrent to playing this deck in best of 1 is that, as you can see, as you might well see during this game, is our opponent. We need a double green, so let's play this Lush Portico. Is our opponent definitely could run us over in this game. We don't have temporary lockdown, and in best of 3, you can mitigate this by playing more Bays and some other cards that can really hamper that strategy from the red deck's point of view. But for us, we need to really hope we can avoid this early aggression, which we are so far, in really what's a lot of the best 1 format's about. So let's see what they have. Lightning Strike, okay, yeah, so board presence we're definitely more scared of than Lightning Strike. We're gonna get an Overlord down next turn, I believe. Oh, wait, okay, so this deck is all burn, okay. Interesting. There's definitely a few solid, just straight up burn variants. Definitely means we're gonna need to gain some life. Zur is a good way to do that, so we're gonna really try to find Zur here. This Leyline Binding is every one of the combos with the Overlord of the Hauntwoods and Leyline Binding, making this every land type, which is very good. We certainly need to find Zur, so I think we're just playing Beanstalks and everything until we can do that. If we find a Zur, I think this game probably ends in short order, so let's Surveil also to see if we can get there. Don't need Day of Judgment, have enough removal spells here. Just really looking for that life gain in Zur. Expect some more Lightning Strikes or something to hit my face unless they're just all in on the mana. But as we can see, they didn't play on land, so these should all be spells here. So we'll see what's up. Another Leyline Binding. Let's get another Hedge Maze. Overlord of the Mistmoor is not good enough, I don't think. I think we need exactly Zur here. This Overlord of the Hauntwoods is starting to impend. We're not playing spells. Maybe this is just all lands and they haven't done anything about it. Kind of a weird start. Opponent played Lightning Strike, Bullwave of Lightning Strike. We've played all lands after our Overlord of the Hauntwoods. We certainly would have liked this Overlord of the Mistmoors over these few lands that we've drawn since, but or around this time. Okay, so now do they have just creature removal? Burst Lightning on us. Oh, okay, that makes sense. These are Burst Lightnings. So our opponent probably has 2 more Burst Lightnings. They at least have 1 more Burst Lightning. Maybe the other one's a land. They at least have another Burst Lightning, though. Yeah, I'll block. See if they cast something to target this with Sphere. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll cast this right in. That way we can cycle with the Beanstalk here. Yep, hit me down there. Man, do we... might just cast a Leyline to cycle it. I think we are. We really need to find something to do here. We have another one in hand. Man, we are struggling to find answers. We need at least one answer in our hand. Okay, that's a good draw here. The Overlord that'll draw us a card. Another land here. I mean, I know we are playing a lot of lands. Shadowy Backstreets. We're really just trying to get to Azure. No, I don't think that's good enough even. I mean, binding's fine. It's not amazing. If the opponent plays another Swiss Spear, we're certainly going to binding it. Rockface Village. Opponent is definitely affording us a lot of time. Going down to 14. We have no more Scry lands. Doesn't really matter. I might as well just play the Thicket. We're not going to use all our mana here anyway. Another Burst Lightning makes sense here. We're down to 3, and our opponent just needs any 3 damage spell here. Lightning Strike would do it. A lot of cards here that kill us. Wow. Alright, we're just going to start cycling. Not a strong start from us. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 lands. Okay, that thing will become a land. Can't attack, though. It was just played this turn. We will Rides end it once they Rockface Village it. Since they're doing that to get it to be able to get haste. And another land, okay. Opponent's down to 8. Alright, do they draw something that kills us or not? Because we have literally nothing in hand. And they do, that's exactly lethal. I mean, we did cycle these leyline bindings, but you've got to figure we would draw something. Tough way to lose this game. I felt like we were in a point where we needed to try to close this out. Definitely got punished for cycling these leyline bindings for no value, but hey, those are the beats. Tough game. GG's. Alrighty. Yeah, this is looking to be a good hand. Definitely keeping a temporary lockdown hand on the play. Opponents could be playing anything. We need planes to activate this, so yep. Hedge Mage. Scrawling a Shadowy Backstreet. I think we can do better. Okay, Heartfire Hero. Temporary lockdown is going to need to be good here. Razor Verge Thicket. Okay, we have a plan. Turn 2 lockdown into turn 3 turn 3 lockdown into turn 4 Mist Moors is the idea here. We do have a forest, but we need a second white source to cast this temporary lockdown, so let's go ahead and do that. Don't really think there's much value in waiting. I mean, surely we could get more creatures, but I don't want to just take a 10 ball to the face. If we had this Leyline Binding available, I would definitely consider doing that, but in the absence of that, I don't think we can do that. All right, Overlord time. Time to get some insects rolling. Here's some good blockers. Dead and Pending down. I mean, the Overlord, if we ever get to attack with it, the game is probably over. So, Screaming Nemesis, we'll double block, surely. So they're going to mix it so we can't gain life the rest of the game. But I think that's fine. I mean, we were going to have to get rid of the Screaming Nemesis anyway. So we're not gaining life the rest of this game, so it gives us a little more impetus to go and finish our opponent off. Opponent probably has some burn. They certainly have creatures. Expect this to be a burn of some sort, lightning strike plus a shock effect, maybe. Oh, the Haunt Woods is good. Is it better than holding up Leyline Binding? Gives us a taps token. No, I think I want to just keep up this Leyline Binding. And next turn we can Overlord and get lost. Opponent no play there. Expected some damage. Maybe they're just stuck on lands here. Pretty unfortunate for them. Definitely going to get in here. So this is for... So we present lethal if we play this Overlord for impend. Get our trigger, even though we're on the impend, which is a cute, neat little interaction you pay for, but you get the full trigger from the up to beanstalk. I'm gonna keep this get lost rolling. So now this is definitely lethal. That's why we play this other Overlord of the Mist Moors. Opponent has to have a Wrath here to get out of this. Certainly possible. Didn't really seem like what their deck was constructed to do though, and I've seen crazier, but not in this instance. GG's. Alrighty, we're going first again. This hand is pretty good. We're gonna analyze the pollen to get a plains here, I would imagine, though. Because we need a second white for what we have rolling here. And this Wastewood Verge defaults to green, so let us cast this Overlord. And once we get the Overlord down, we'll be pretty set on mana the rest of the game, I would imagine. So yeah, we're going to go Overlord into Overlord. Overlord, of course, will be able to keep up the Leyline Binding as well. So it'll be 2/1s and keep up Leyline Binding. Definitely seeing the benefit of going on the play here, because this would all be happening a turn earlier if we were on the draw. One has Ethereal Armor. Probably should cast that. If they decide not to. Why would they do that? Yeah, we don't need blue mana right now. Ethereal Armor, they said no. So this has to be some sort of protection spell, I would imagine. Not sure. Keep these ticking down. Could you certainly use a up the beanstalk now? Alright. Opponent Manifold Mouse, sure thing. I think that means we're going to take our time to tag this now. Yeah, pretty curious as to why they decided not to use Ethereal Armor. Must have had something to do there, you would imagine. Don't think just one mouse for a lockdown is good enough here. Impending this gives us a chance to still ride Zend. Something that becomes tapped. So that'll be the plan there. Filtered by Ghosts. Okay. Gets their Emberheart Challenger back. Double strike or trample. What are you going to do? Give it double strike? Yeah, they do. Okay. And how they cast it means we do have this right ends up for that Manifold Mouse. And here's that protection spell we were surmising about earlier. So it does not have trample, so we'll just block once. So if we temporary lockdown, we get our Leyline Binding back. This doesn't do much. But then we also get this Overlord of the Hauntwoods here. We should have definitely attacked there. That was my bad. I just wasn't really thinking. Just think too much about temporary lockdown. So they should be at 14. But we're going to get this Overlord on unimpend here. Good old 6/5. Have a Leyline Binding here. Up. And didn't matter. They should be hit some less life. But, you know, the temporary lockdown was enough to take him down. A lot of aggro matchups. Let's see maybe against a mid-range matchup how this deck would fare. This kind of was built for mid-range mirrors, so hopefully we get to find mid-range eventually. GG's. Alrighty, here we have a pretty good hand. We have the plains to activate both of our lands here. Definitely going to keep opponent is mulligan. We have this temporary lockdown on turn 3. Turn 2, we can analyze the pollen if need be. See what our opponent has. Mountain into Hardfire Hero, sure thing. Opponent is definitely going aggro. Don't think we want to Razor Verge Thicket. Up the Beanstalk into Temporary Lockdown doesn't really seem like a great move to me. Definitely going to take chunks of damage here. Okay, taking 4 here. Overlord. I think we're just going to analyze here. And we have no second green, so I think we'll go ahead and grab second green. Regardless, we're just dropping this temporary lockdown next turn. Gonna take 7 this turn, down to 9 at the minimum. Opponent probably has some sort of pump spell. If they have 2 pump spells, we could be dead. 1 pump spell, okay. 2 pump spells it is. Yeah, I mean, that's the danger. You're on the draw here, and you just don't get a chance to get to turn 3. You know, these mono red decks are built to beat decks like ours, and they're bringing it in force. You know, we had the double temporary lockdown, not fast enough. Hopefully we'll be fast enough next game. GG's. Alrighty, opponent's going first. This hand can cast a turn 2 Beanstalk. And can cast turn 1 Pollen, I think, even as well. So I think we'll keep this. We'd have to lead on this Hushword Verge to get that done. Llanowar Hills from our opponent. Okay. Shadowy Backstreet. That's pretty good. Makes me want to play that. Yeah. I'm gonna play Shadowy Backstreet. Don't need Swamp. Next turn can be the Hushwood Verge, and then turn 3 can be Keep Up Leyline Binding. Let's see what they have here. Llanowar Elves on turn 1 lets you cast turn 2 Sanguine Evangelist. Okay, let's Beanstalk here, draw a card. Get the Day of Judgment, which is pretty good. What does our opponent have? Is this some sort of green-white brawler deck? Okay, this probably is the Gear Hulk deck, if I had to guess. It makes me kind of want to just get this Overlord down and play with this Day of Judgment, and just plan on that being our play. Day of Judgment into Hold Up Leyline Binding the next turn. Don't think we're dead this turn. Certainly, the turn after that, I'd be worried. Sheltered by Ghosts, getting our Overlord, that's fine. Gets you up to Beanstalk, sure thing. I mean, that probably makes more sense as a target there. Battle Cry does a lot of work here. Only gets us to 2, though. Get this Day of Judgment rolling. Gets our Up to Beanstalk back. I think we just want to cast this Leyline Binding now. Alright, looking to avoid a creature with haste. If we do, we're sitting pretty well. Have Leyline Binding here. Offspring is pretty good here. I think that means we're just going to Overlord. Keep up a Leyline Binding and a Ride's End if they attack. Zur here at any time would be pretty profitable to gain some life. What do we have? Okay. It's an enchantment. Sure. Makes their stuff 6/6s. I'll block, no trample, so just block here. Go to my turn. So we can right ends both things. Probably worth it. Zur. And now we can Zur this Overlord of the Mistmoors to gain some life. I like that. Yep, our opponent recognizes that it's GG's. After that, we're going to make some 2-2s. Our opponent is going to have some 6-6s, but is not going to be able to brawl through there. GG's. Playing against young Mewtwo. In this hand, doesn't have second white for this Day of Judgment. Can't cast the Overlord. I think it needs some help. We're going to mulligan. Can definitely put the Azure back here. Hand's a little better, though. Keep 6, put the Azure back. Let's get this Shadowy backstreet going. Plains, don't think we want Plains. Got Hedge Mage next turn. Opponent's on Mountain. And Heartfire Hero. Lush Portico or Hedge Mage. Hedge Maze. I think we're gonna get Hedge Maze down. Get rid of this Shadowy backstreets. Play eventually here is going to be Overlord the Mistmoors with a Leyline Binding on an interesting Innkeeper's Talent deck. Not necessarily what I was expecting here. That was a fantastic draw. Lock this down. That's why it's in the deck. Next turn we have Leyline Binding, where an untapped land affords us Overlord of the Mistmoors. 2 untapped lands in a row. Let's go Overlord next turn, plus Zero the turn after. Another lockdown is pretty good. So we have this Lush Portico. Untapped lands. Untapped land is fine. I think I still want to keep up this Leyline Binding. Don't think it's worth running this 0 right now. They could have a removal spell for it. Questing Druid's fine. Monstrous Rage, Heartfire Hero, Questing Druid. All of these are things that can get locked down. Yeah, I think it's worth a Leyline Binding here. Get that out of the battlefield. Save 4 life. And now they have cast these. So now we can cast another lockdown. Yeah, another lockdown, and then we can get the Overlord down the next turn. Zerd down the turn after that. Slowed our opponent down a bunch here. Feel like it would be hard for them at this point to kill us the turn after this one. Possible, but hard. Okay, Emberheart Challenger. This is going to be attack for 3, plus maybe more if they hit something juicy here. Hit a Manifold Mouse they can't cast, which is nice. Overlord time. Next turn, we're talking Zur into Activate, which probably locks this game up. We're blocking basically as much as they'll let us here. Heartfire Hero and Restless Ridge line. I could just play both of these. Just looks like they might. Obliterating Bolt, sure thing. Would have been good against our Zur. Animate this. And our opponent knows they can't beat that. Temporary lockdown, got it done. GG's. Alrighty, we're heading up first. Temporary lockdown into Overlord into Zur activate. Seems good to me. Razor Verge, fine enough, yep. Hushwood and Razor Verge. Hushwood Verge and Razor Verge. Seasoned Warren Guard. Gonna be a good target for this temporary lockdown if we can find a second white. Don't have that currently. Just need a forest or a plains to get there. We can pass on that. Really would just like So a Hedge Mage does get us to the white mana for temporary lockdown. Sunfall, probably good to have a second removal spell. This Ride's End will help in case something crazy happens. If not, lockdown next turn will be the play. Knight Errant, okay, sure. Let's see what they nab here. Sure. My turn. So we could definitely just play this Overlord and then play into the Sunfall the turn after. Kind of like that. Gives them another turn to Knight Errant, but we'll see if they have it. This gives us Sunfall next turn, and then any subsequent turn a Zur into activate. Okay, that's a Lord for rabbits. Definitely gonna take a big chunk of damage here. They're gonna Convoke. Would take everybody. Man. Everyone but the 7/7. We'll save damage there. I mean, their board's gonna grow, but I don't really see... I mean, those are good draws, but I don't really see how you're gonna beat the Sunfall here. Just double blocking there, because might as well save the 2 life with this Sunfall. Let's see it. Gives us a big token, too. Our opponent just like plays out some of this small stuff. We might even temporarily lock it down. To be determined. Paw Patch Recruit. Okay, to do Offspring it. This is decent. I think we just start getting in there. I'm not sure our opponent can beat what we have going on. It's a huge life swing. Up to 20, down to 13. We have some 2-1s just chilling. And a temporary lockdown can get in there. Okay, they're going to tap it all for another Knight Errant with Eos. Valley Quest Caller, and yeah, even if we just attack this Mistmore's Rescue, I'm not sure there's anything they can do, and GG's, that's kind of the matchup we're looking for. Beat up on them. Let's head to the wrap-up. Alrighty, and we're back with a wrap-up here with this deck that won $50,000 at the Pro Tour, mind you, in best of 3. For best of 1, I think I would make some reasonable changes to the deck. I would get rid of the Analyze the Pollen. I think it's too slow. I think what you want is one drop that affects the board, and the best one in Standard right now is Elspeth Smite. I would probably even go up to 4 of them because you're going to play these aggro decks all day long. So I would go up to 4 Elspeth's Smite, get rid of some Analyze the Pollen there to do so. And I would also probably cut a couple Zurs to get to that correct number as well. And since we're leaning so much more on getting the board kind of wiped out early, I would go up a temporary lockdown, go down both Day of Judgments. So 1 for a temporary lockdown, 1 for maybe another Beza. And I would try something more along those lines to get the deck a little more tuned for the best of 1 meta. As you can see, we played a lot of aggro, and you can struggle sometimes. We died on turn 3 with 2 temporary lockdowns in our hand one game. And if we had Elspeth Smite, maybe we could have avoided that fate and really taken over that game. And Zur, while it is good to gain life and take over the game that way, it's a little slow to beat those red decks. So it's really more of a tool to go over the top of your opponents to gain extra value with the 2/1 tokens from Overlord of the Mistmoors, or a plethora of lands with the Overlord of the Hauntwoods. I think Zur, really, you're looking to go more over the top than have it be the stabilizing agent, because it requires you to have an Overlord already on the field, you not to essentially be dead on the crackback essentially anyway. So I think you want to rely more on those Elspeth Smite, another lockdown, and go higher on the base as well instead of the Day of Judgment. And I think that'll be a better position for this deck to be in. And really, really sweet deck. It's obviously, very obvious white one, 50 grand is super powerful mid to end game. Your opponents are very unlikely to be able to fight through once you survive that long without them going some super over the top strategy. So yeah, it's super cool deck. I recommend playing it. Make those changes for best of 1. You will get a lot of wins. And until next time, wherever you are, whenever you are, Have a magical day.